Alright, welcome back to the series of this lab. The next thing is to finalize the configuration of this switch 2. Let's go ahead and assign an IP address to the VLANs and as well assign an IP helper address. Okay, so let's do interface VLAN 10 and let's do IP address 172.116.10.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, let's do a no shot. Let's do interface VLAN 20 IP address 172.16.20.1 255.255.255.0. No shot. We had to set up the IP helper address, so I forgot to do that. So let's go back to interface VLAN 10. IP helper address 172.16.20.63. So what happens here in this command is that when this Windows PC is gonna request a it's gonna do a broadcast message, and it's gonna request an IP address. But once it gets to this switch is set up as a layer 3 switch. It's not gonna forward. It's gonna forward that request to this server right here. So it's kind of like redirecting the traffic. Okay, so interface VLAN 20, and let's type it correctly. Let's do IP helper address 172.16.20.63. Okay, and now we have to set up a protocol in order for this switch to be discovered by the router. And later on we're going to set up the router, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now so I don't forget. So router rip, then we're going to do version 2. We're going to do a no auto summary, then the networks that they're connected to. So it's connected to the 192.168.1.0, which is this network right here. The network of the VLANs 172.6.10.0, and then that 20.0. Okay, so that's exit here. Let's do a do show run. So we have internet, the port channel, the internet 00. Why does it have an IP address? Yes, it has an IP address here. Okay, Ethernet 01. This one's a setup trunk, and they have a channel group. Okay, and we have our VLANs right here. Set it up correctly. 10.1, 21. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and turn this Windows machine on. Okay, so I have the Windows machine. Let me log in. Sometimes it takes a while because it uses a lot of my RAM and a lot of CPU memory. I'm only running an Intel-Core 5 with 9th generation, but I do have 32 gigs of RAM. That may not be enough to run GNS3, and as you can see, it's a little slow. So let's go to CMD here. Okay, let's run this. Let's do an IP config. /all. Alright, so there you go. This is our default gateway, DHCP server. Okay, and this is our IP address. So we have assigned a IP address of .10.2 to this machine. Let's turn on this one. I already turned it on. I'm not gonna, let me see if, okay, let's turn on the Ubuntu, but I have to turn off the Windows so it doesn't run into so much CPU that I have, much of my CPU that I have here. Alright, so I have my Ubuntu machine here. So load up. Let's find the terminal. Let's do an if config IP address, because this one doesn't have that network tool. And let's look here. We have an IP address of 172.16.10.3. Perfect. So our DHCP server, we are routing via this layer 3 switch. The switch Sw1 is configured correctly, so we can go ahead and move on to configuring these routers right here using RIP. So let's do that in the next video.